beautiful sweet baby. So today we're going to be talking about DDG saying that nobody should ever have a 9 to 5 forever. So first, let me go ahead and give you guys a little bit of backstory. So DDG actually has a podcast now with him and his cousin, Von. The podcast is called No Ordinary Podcast. I've actually watched all of the episodes, but I'm not caught up on this one, so I'll probably watch this episode probably tomorrow or over the course of the weekend. But so far, it's been a pretty decent podcast. So pretty much they had discussed the topic of 9 to 5s. And as we know, DDG is a person that does come from a 9 to 5. He is a person that's been very open and upfront about his journey of working 9 to 5 to now becoming an entrepreneur. So the same struggles that every other 9 to 5er has, he's experienced it himself. And just to mention also, he's also put on his entire family that has also worked 9 to 5s as well. But I digress. So in the midst of this whole, podcast that they were explaining, DDG is actually seen here explaining that if you have a 9 to 5, you should definitely aspire to use your 9 to 5 money to fund your business. Then he was saying that there's no way that you should be working your 9 to 5 for the rest of your life to take care and fund your life for the rest of your life. Then he even mentioned some things along the lines of, if you are working 9 to 5s, usually like if you're late or, something along those lines, they can fire you at any given moment. And then he expressed how he feels as a businessman and the people that work for him. And then he expressed that, if he had the opportunity to hire and fire people, he'd be doing that himself. And then he was also talking about qualifications of reasons as to why he would fire people and the fact that there would be, thousands and thousands of people willing to work for him. So due to the criticism that he received on behalf of this, he actually came forth and started to, explain more of what he meant. So here's what he said. He said, just my opinion, if you aspire to be a boss one day, you have to invest in yourself. None wrong with working a 9 to 5 for your entire life, though, if you cool with it. I just like to motivate people to dream bigger. So here's my thoughts. I've seen, DDG go from the bottom to be where he is now. So I know that, usually when he says things like this, it isn't in a way to flex. It isn't in a way to, demean anybody. It's really speaking from experience. And I think that a lot of people that work 9 to 5s that really don't have that aspiration to go farther in life, or maybe that just don't have that aspiration to do greater things or have never even found out what it is that they're great at, they usually have their little panty drawers in a bunch. Honestly and truthfully, I found nothing wrong with what he said. I did find it to be motivational. But there's just always those select few people that find the negative in every situation that comes out that anybody says. Honestly, he spoke nothing but facts. If you are working a 9 to 5 and you do aspire to do more things other than just work for somebody for the rest of your life, then you should be using the money that you're making from that job to do bigger and better things for yourself. But if you find that it is easier for you to take, orders from people, and you've always aspired to just level up in somebody else's company, then that is 100% okay. Maybe you don't like the verbiage of how it's being said, but at the end of the day, that is exactly what you're doing. You are leveling up in a company that's not even yours. And that's okay, because that's what works for you. That's what helps you sleep at night. That's what you're comfortable with. And that's where you want to be for the rest of your life. So if this literally has nothing to do with you and you aspire to be in the 9 to 5 mind frame for the rest of your life, then DDG was not speaking to you. He was only speaking to the people that aspired to do greater things beyond working 9 to 5s. Whether that's a 9 to 5 shift, a 8 to 5 shift, a 9 to 6 shift, a 7 to 3 shift, a graveyard shift, he was speaking to particularly those people. Because there are people that have really big dreams and that see people that started from the same space that they are at currently, and they always want inspiration from that person. Whether it's the same inspiration that they've heard countless times over and over again, they love to hear that inspiration because they see how successful another person is. Because once again, DDG has been very vocal about where he started, and he expressed that he used to work at TJ Maxx. So I'm sure that he's talking to maybe another young boy or another young female that has worked from the exact same space that he's worked at, TJ Maxx, and they're looking to level up and maybe level up to the point of being at DDG, or maybe surpassing DDG, or maybe getting close to where DDG is. So there's really no reason to get upset at what he said if your aspiration is to career in a 9 to 5. We honestly need people that want to be workers. If not, how else will we get our McDonald's? How else will we be able to go into nice stores and, cash out if we don't have a cashier behind the counter that wants to be there? How else will, we get our toilets unclogged if we didn't have plumbers? For the people that aspire to be where they're at, please stay there. But for the people that aspire to go greater, hey, listen to somebody that started from the bottom and now they're somewhere else. But that's my opinion. What's yours?